Imagine this. You're in a relationship, and you think everything is fine. Maybe it's even great, or so you thought. Then, one day, she looks you in the eye and says those words that echo like a bomb going off in your chest. "I don't think this is working anymore." Your mind races. What went wrong? Was it something you said, something you did, or worse, something you didn't do? You feel the ground shift beneath your feet, and suddenly you're standing in the rubble of what used to be us. Now, the natural response. It's panic. You want to reach out, to talk it through, to fix it. Maybe you think if you just explain yourself, if you show her how much she means to you, she'll change her mind. But let me hit you with a hard truth, Stoic blessing fam. That's exactly what you shouldn't do. Because every word you say, every text you send, every moment you spend trying to win her back, it doesn't bring her closer. It pushes her further away, and worse, it takes your power, your peace, and hands it over to her. But here's where the real twist comes in. What if you did nothing? No calls, no texts, no long explanations. Just silence. I know what you're thinking, but won't that make her think I don't care? Won't it ruin any chance of getting her back? Let me tell you something revolutionary. Ignoring her after she breaks up with you isn't just about her, it's about you. It's about reclaiming your dignity, your strength, and your focus. Here's why it works, and why it's rooted in the ancient wisdom of Stoicism. The Stoics believed that the only thing we truly control in this life is ourselves, our actions, our thoughts, and our responses. Everything else? That's noise. And when she walked away, she became part of that noise. Your job now is not to react to it. Your job is to rise above it. Silence is power. Think about it. What happens when you stop chasing, when you stop explaining yourself? It forces her to sit with her decision. It forces her to wonder, why isn't he reacting? Did I misjudge him? Did I lose someone who was stronger than I thought? That's not manipulation. That's the psychological reality of detachment. People crave attention, even in a breakup. And when you deny them that attention, it shakes their world. But more importantly, it heals yours. So today we're going to talk about why ignoring her is your best strategy. Not just to deal with the breakup, but to rebuild yourself stronger than ever. This isn't about revenge or games. This is about stepping into a version of yourself that doesn't just survive the breakup, but thrives because of it. Before we dive in, I want you to make a choice. A choice to let go of the pain, the confusion, and the need for closure. And let's make it real by putting it into words. Right now, I want you to comment this below. I am calm, I am strong, I am free. Type it, feel it, own it. Because today, you're reclaiming your power. And don't forget, hit that like button right now. Not for me, but for yourself. Because every time you take an action toward empowerment, you're saying, I'm worth it. Let's get started. Number 1. Why she walked away and what it really means. Let's get real for a second. When she walked away, it felt personal, didn't it? Like a gut punch straight to your core. And your mind? It probably went into overdrive trying to decode her reasons. Was it something you did? Something you didn't do? Maybe you've been obsessing over the why, replaying every conversation, every moment, every mistake. But here's the harsh truth you need to hear. It doesn't matter why she left. Because her decision to walk away says more about her than it does about you. Let me explain. People leave for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's insecurity, sometimes it's a desire for something they think they're missing. And yes, sometimes they leave because they're looking for someone else to validate their ego. But here's the thing, they'll never tell you the real reason. They'll give you excuses, half-truths, or vague statements like, I need to find myself, or I just need space. What they won't tell you is that breaking up with you was never about you. It was about them. And the moment you start chasing her for answers, you've already fallen into the trap. You see, when someone walks away, they expect you to beg. They expect you to fight for them, to cling, to prove your worth. But when you don't, when you stay silent, unshaken and composed, that's when the game changes. This is where Stoicism comes in, where the teachings of Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius become your secret weapon. They taught us that there's only one thing worth focusing on: what's within your control. Can you control her feelings? No. Can you control her actions? Absolutely not. But you can control how you show up in the aftermath. And here's what's incredible about this mindset. When you stop trying to fix what's broken, you shift your energy inward. You stop living for her validation, and you start living for your own growth. But let's take it a step further. This isn't just about finding peace. It's about understanding the psychology behind her actions. You see, when she walks away, she's betting on one thing: that you'll chase her. Why? Because that chase feeds her ego. It tells her, I'm still in control. Now imagine what happens when you refuse to give her that. When instead of chasing, you retreat into your own world. You focus on yourself, your goals, your health, your purpose. Suddenly the narrative flips. She starts wondering, why isn't he fighting for me? Did I underestimate him? Did I lose someone who was stronger than I realized? That's not manipulation. That's the natural consequence of indifference. People are drawn to what they can't control. And when you step into that space of calm and strength, you become the thing she can't figure out. But this isn't about her. This is about you. About protecting your peace, your dignity, and your energy. And trust me, when you stop chasing her, you start chasing something far more important: your own greatness. Before we move on, let's pause for a second. I want you to commit to this mindset right now. Go to the comments and type this: her decision is hers, my power is mine. Say it out loud. Feel the weight of those words. Because the moment you understand that, you're free. And if you're finding this message valuable, take a second to hit that like button. Not just because it helps the channel, but because it's a signal that you're choosing strength over weakness, peace over chaos. Now let's take it deeper. Let's talk about why silence is the ultimate power move. Number 2, the Stoic philosophy of silence and indifference. All right, let's talk about silence, why it's not just a response but a weapon. Picture this. She's expecting you to text her, to call her, to chase her with questions or declarations of love. That's the game she's ready for. But instead, she gets nothing. And that silence? It's loud, deafening. Because when someone is expecting a reaction and you give them none, it forces them to confront themselves. No distractions, no drama, just them, sitting with their own choices. This is where Stoicism becomes your guide. The Stoics, men like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, understood that indifference to external chaos is one of the greatest strengths a person can possess. They called it apatheia, freedom from being disturbed by things outside of your control. Let's break this down. What happens when you engage with someone who's left you? You pour your energy into words, emotions, and actions meant to pull them back. And what do you get in return? Maybe a response, maybe rejection, maybe silence from them. But what you definitely lose is your time, your peace, and your power. Now flip the script. What happens when you choose silence? You conserve your energy, you protect your emotions. And here's the best part. You make it clear, without saying a single word, that you're in control of yourself. That's the kind of strength people can't ignore. But there's a deeper layer to this. Silence isn't just about ignoring her, it's about reclaiming your focus. When you stop looking backward, you start seeing the path forward. You realize that her decision to leave doesn't define your worth or your future. Only you can do that. And let me tell you what happens psychologically when you embody this kind of indifference. People are drawn to what they can't predict. When you react, you're predictable, But when you stay calm and composed, you become a mystery. You create curiosity, even in someone who thought they were done with you. This isn't about playing games or manipulating her into wanting you back. This is about choosing yourself, about refusing to let anyone, no matter who they are, dictate your emotions or your path. You see, the Stoics understood something powerful. Life will throw chaos at you. People will try to pull you into their drama, their pain, their insecurities. But you don't have to participate. You can choose silence. And in that silence, you'll find peace and a strength that's unshakable. So here's what I want you to do right now. Take a deep breath. Say this out loud. I choose silence. I choose strength. I choose me. And then head to the comments and write it down. Let's make this commitment together. And don't forget, if this message is hitting home for you, if you're feeling that shift in your mindset, hit that like button. It's not just support for the channel, it's a sign to yourself that you're ready to take back control. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into how this silence impacts not just you, but her, and why it's the most powerful response you can give. Number 3. The psychological impact of silence on her. Let's flip the script now and talk about her. What happens when you go silent after she leaves? You see, in most cases when someone walks away, they don't expect to face a wall of calm. They expect a storm, a flurry of texts, questions, maybe even desperation. But when she's met with silence, it forces her to confront a reality she didn't prepare for. She starts asking herself questions. Why isn't he reaching out? Doesn't he care? Was I wrong about him? That silence creates a vacuum, and in that vacuum, doubt starts to grow. Here's why this happens, and it's pure psychology. People crave validation, especially when they make a big decision like walking away from someone. They want confirmation that they're in control, that their choice was the right one, and that you're still tethered to their influence. But silence robs them of that validation. It doesn't give them the closure or control they were looking for. Instead, it leaves them to wrestle with their own thoughts. And trust me, nothing is louder than the sound of your absence when they expected your presence. But let's take this deeper. What's the first thing someone does when they're ignored? They start questioning. They question their worth, their decision, their assumptions about you. This isn't manipulation. It's a natural reaction to not getting the feedback their ego expected. Here's an example. Let's say she thought you'd fight for her. Maybe she even believed you couldn't move on without her. But your silence? It disrupts that narrative completely. It forces her to wonder, maybe I didn't know him as well as I thought. Maybe he's stronger than I gave him credit for. And while she's sitting there, grappling with these thoughts, you're out there doing something far more important. You're living. You're growing. You're showing, not just to her, but to yourself, that your life doesn't revolve around anyone else's choices. Now let me make something clear. This isn't about revenge or playing games. Silence isn't about making her feel regret. It's about taking back your power. Because when you go silent, you're not doing it to hurt her. You're doing it to heal yourself. But here's the twist. That healing, your calm, your indifference, it does something powerful. It creates an aura of strength, a magnetism that people can't ignore. Whether she comes back or not, you're no longer affected. Because you're no longer living for her validation. You're living for your own peace. So, what's the takeaway? Silence is not just the absence of words, it's the presence of strength. It's a statement, one that says, I don't need your validation to move forward. Right now, I want you to anchor this mindset. Go to the comments and write this. In my silence, I find my power. Say it, feel it, live it. And if you're feeling that shift in energy, if you're realizing the strength in stepping back and focusing inward, hit that like button. Let's amplify this message, not just for you, but for every person who needs to hear it. Next, we'll explore the trap of engagement and why responding to her or anyone for that matter, only feeds their power. Number 4. Why engaging with her is a trap. Let's talk about the trap of engagement. Why every time you reach out, respond, or try to explain yourself, you're giving away your power. When she broke up with you, she made a choice. And whether it was out of fear, confusion, or selfishness, that choice is hers to own. But when you engage with her, when you text her back, try to get closure, or worse, try to win her back, you're stepping into her frame. You're playing the game on her terms, not yours. Here's the problem with that. When you engage, you're signaling that her decision still controls you. You're saying, I can't move forward without your input. And that's exactly what you need to avoid. Let's break this down from a psychological perspective. People are wired to seek power dynamics in relationships. When someone walks away, they often do it thinking they hold the upper hand, that they can leave you behind but still keep some influence over you. Every time you engage, even if it's a simple, I just want to talk, you're reinforcing that belief. But what happens when you don't respond? When you don't ask for closure? When you don't try to explain yourself? You shift the power dynamic completely. You're saying, without words, your decision is yours, but my life is mine. This isn't about being cold or cruel. It's about refusing to play a game that's designed to keep you stuck. Because here's the reality. Closure isn't something she can give you. It's something you create for yourself. And every moment you spend trying to engage with her is a moment you could be using to rebuild your life. Now, let's talk about the illusion of closure for a moment. People think closure comes from understanding why something ended. But let me ask you this. Would knowing the why actually change anything? Would it undo the breakup? Would it bring peace? Most of the time, the answer is no. And here's why. Closure doesn't come from answers. It comes from acceptance. From realizing that her reasons, her choices, and her actions are hers alone, and they don't define your worth. Engaging with her doesn't just cost you your peace. It keeps you trapped in the past. It keeps you focused on what's gone instead of what's ahead. But silence breaks that cycle. It creates a boundary, a line that says, this is where your influence ends and my freedom begins. So let's make this practical. Every time you feel the urge to reach out, to respond, to engage, ask yourself this: is this serving my growth, or is it holding me back? 9 times out of 10, the answer will be clear. And right now, I want you to make a commitment. In the comments, write this: I don't engage, I rise above. Say it, mean it, and live it. Next, we're going to dive into the art of inner strength, how to use this silence and detachment to not just heal, but thrive. Number 5, building inner strength through silence. Now that we've talked about why silence is your greatest weapon, let's focus on what happens when you turn that silence inward, when you use it to build the kind of inner strength that no one, not even her, can shake. Here's the truth. Silence isn't just the absence of words. It's the space where transformation happens. When you stop focusing on her, on what she's thinking, feeling, or doing, you finally have the freedom to focus on the one person who truly matters, you. This is the part no one talks about. They'll tell you to move on or stay strong, but what they won't tell you is that the most powerful growth comes from sitting in the discomfort and letting it shape you. Yes, the breakup hurt. Yes, the silence can feel heavy at first. But within that silence lies the opportunity to rebuild yourself from the ground up. Let's look at this through the lens of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What does that mean here? It means you can't control her actions, her words, or even the breakup itself. But you can control how you use this moment to grow. When you sit with your thoughts, instead of drowning them out with distractions or desperate actions, you begin to understand yourself in ways you never could before. You start to see your strengths, your weaknesses, and, most importantly, your potential. Here's a practical exercise. Take the energy you would have spent texting her, checking her social media, or replaying the breakup in your head and channel it into something that builds you. Go to the gym, read a book, start a new project. Because every action you take towards self-improvement is a declaration that your value doesn't depend on her or anyone else. But here's the twist. The stronger you become internally, the less her absence affects you. And something incredible happens when you reach that place of strength. You stop needing her or anyone to validate your worth. You become untouchable. And let me tell you, that's magnetic. People are drawn to those who are secure in themselves. Whether she notices or not, it doesn't matter. Because by the time you've built that inner strength, her opinion of you will no longer hold the weight it once did. But don't take my word for it. Try it. Right now, I want you to write this in the comments. I choose growth over grief. I choose strength over weakness. Write it. Believe it. Act on it. In the next part, we'll talk about living above the fray, how to embrace a life where drama, negativity, and even the breakup itself can no longer touch you. Number 6. Living above the fray. Let's shift gears and talk about what happens when you fully embrace this mindset, when you step out of the chaos and start living above the fray. Breakups have a way of pulling you into the drama. Friends ask what happened. Your mind replays every conversation. Social media becomes a battlefield of overthinking. But when you commit to silence, when you rise above it all, you're no longer playing by those rules. You've created a new game, and you're the only player that matters. Living above the fray means choosing peace over pettiness, focus over distractions, and growth over gossip. It's not about ignoring her or anyone else to prove a point. It's about recognizing that your energy is too valuable to waste on anything that doesn't elevate you. Here's the beauty of this. When you stop engaging with the noise, it no longer affects you. Imagine walking into a room where people are whispering about you, but instead of reacting, you stand tall, calm, unbothered. That's what living above the fray feels like. It's freedom. Now, let's bring in some Stoic wisdom here. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." What does that mean? It means people will talk, people will assume things, and yes, some might even judge your silence as weakness, but the truth is, their opinions don't define you. Your actions, your mindset, and your focus, that's what defines you. Living above the fray isn't just about rising above a breakup. It's a mindset you carry into every part of your life. It's about learning to let go of what you can't control, whether it's her opinion, someone else's judgment, or even the outcomes of your own actions. And here's the paradox. The less you care about what others think, the more respect you command. People notice when someone is unshaken by the opinions and noise around them. It's rare, it's powerful, it's magnetic. But let me be clear, this isn't about perfection. It's not about pretending you don't feel pain or anger. It's about learning to channel those emotions into something greater. It's about showing up for yourself in a way that no one else ever could. So, here's your challenge. Start small. The next time you're tempted to check her social media, to explain yourself to someone, or to engage in drama, pause. Ask yourself, does this help me live above the fray, or does it pull me back into it? And right now, let's make a commitment together. Go to the comments and write this. I rise above, I choose peace. Because that's the energy we're creating here, an energy that no one can take away from you. Next, we'll dive into action, how to use your silence and focus to create a life so full of purpose that the past becomes nothing more than a stepping stone. Number 7. Empowerment through action, not reaction. All right, Stoic Blessing fam, let's talk about the ultimate antidote to pain and negativity, action. Because here's the truth. Ignoring her isn't just about walking away from the drama, it's about walking toward something better. It's about using this moment to build a life so full, so purposeful, that the breakup becomes nothing more than a stepping stone. Here's the thing. When you focus on reacting, on trying to win her back, trying to prove yourself, or even just trying to get closure, you're stuck in her orbit. But when you shift that focus to action, you step out of that orbit completely. You stop living for her approval and start living for your own growth. This isn't just philosophy, it's practical. Every time you feel that pull to reach out, to check on her, or to engage in any way, stop. Instead, ask yourself, what can I do right now to improve myself? Here's what this looks like. Hit the gym, push your body to new limits. Build strength, not just physical, but mental. Each rep, each mile, each drop of sweat is a reminder that you're moving forward. Learn something new. Pick up a book, start a course, or master a skill. Grow your mind, because nothing is more attractive, not to others but to yourself, than a man who's constantly evolving. Set goals and crush them. Whether it's in your career, your health, or your personal life, set tangible goals that light a fire inside you. Every small win builds momentum. This is how you turn pain into power. When you pour your energy into action instead of reaction, you're no longer defined by the breakup. You're defined by what you're building, by the life you're creating. And let me tell you something about this process. It's magnetic. Not just to her, although yes, she'll notice, but to everyone around you. Because people are drawn to those who are on a mission, to those who are too busy growing to dwell on the past. But the real beauty of this, it's not about impressing her or anyone else. It's about looking in the mirror and being proud of the person staring back at you. It's about realizing that your worth isn't tied to her or anyone. It's tied to how you show up for yourself. Now let's ground this in Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." Stop thinking about how to fix things or what could have been. Start living as the man you want to become. So here's what I want you to do. Right now, in the comments, write this: I choose action, I choose growth. Let's make it a declaration, something you commit to today, not tomorrow. In the next section, we'll bring this full circle. How to embrace a life where the past no longer defines you, but propels you toward greatness. Number 8. Turning pain into purpose. Let's bring everything we've talked about together and focus on the ultimate transformation, turning your pain into purpose. Because here's the truth. The breakup wasn't just an ending, it was an opportunity. Think about it. This moment, as painful as it might feel, is a blank slate. It's a chance to take all the energy you've been wasting on the past and channel it into building something extraordinary. This isn't just about getting over her. It's about creating a life that's so full of purpose, so aligned with who you're becoming, that the breakup becomes a stepping stone toward your greatness. Let me break it down. Pain is energy. It's raw, it's real, and it's powerful. But most people let that energy consume them. They spiral into anger, regret, or self-pity. Not you. Not today. Today, you're going to take that pain and use it as fuel. Here's how. Redefine your identity. Stop seeing yourself as the guy she left. That's not who you are. You're a man on a mission, a man who's using this moment to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. Set a vision for your future. What does the next chapter of your life look like? Not the one you planned with her, the one you create for yourself. Write it down, make it real, and then take steps toward it every single day. Find purpose in your pain. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience shape me for the better? Every challenge holds a lesson, if you're willing to see it. Now, let's anchor this in Stoicism. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." This pain you're feeling, it's not here to break you, it's here to build you. It's here to show you what you're made of, to push you beyond your limits, and to remind you of your power. But here's the catch. Purpose doesn't find you. You have to find it. You have to wake up every day and decide that no matter how hard it feels, you're going to take one step forward. You're going to build something meaningful, something that makes you proud to call this moment a turning point, not a setback. And here's the beautiful thing about turning pain into purpose. When you're focused on building your future, the past loses its grip on you. Her choices, her actions, her absence, they no longer define your story. You do. So, here's what I want you to do right now. Take that first step. Go to the comments and write this. My pain fuels my purpose. My purpose fuels my greatness. Let's make it a statement of intention, a promise to yourself that this is the beginning of something extraordinary. In the final section, we'll wrap this up with a powerful reminder of why ignoring her is the ultimate strategy, not just for handling a breakup, but for building a life of strength and freedom. Number 9. Why ignoring her is the ultimate strategy. Let's close this out by bringing everything together. Why ignoring her isn't just a temporary tactic, but the ultimate strategy for your strength, your growth, and your freedom. Think about everything we've discussed. When you choose silence over chaos, you reclaim your energy. When you focus on action instead of reaction, you build a life of purpose. And when you rise above the fray, you step into a version of yourself that no one, not her, not anyone, can touch. But here's the deeper truth. Ignoring her isn't just about her. It's about breaking free from the chains of external validation. It's about realizing that you don't need her or anyone to define your worth. This isn't about playing games or trying to manipulate her emotions. This is about choosing yourself. Because the moment you decide to stop chasing, to stop engaging, to stop giving your energy to someone who walked away, you take back your power. You become the author of your own story. Now, let's bring this back to Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the core of this strategy. Her actions, her choices, even her absence, they're all outside events. Your power lies in how you respond. And by ignoring the noise, you make space for something far more valuable: peace. But here's the beautiful paradox of ignoring her. When you detach, when you stop needing her approval, her attention, or her answers, you become magnetic. Not because you're trying to get her back, but because true strength, true indifference, is rare. And let's be real, whether she notices or not doesn't matter, because by the time you've mastered this mindset, her opinion of you will no longer define your life. You'll be too busy building, growing, and thriving to care about what she thinks. So what's the takeaway? Ignoring her isn't just a response to the breakup. It's a declaration of independence. It's saying, I don't need you to be whole. I am whole on my own. Now let's end this with a final commitment. Go to the comments and write this. My silence is my strength. My growth is my focus. My life is mine. Say it, feel it, own it. And if this video has empowered you, if it's reminded you of the power you hold within, hit that like button. Let's spread this message to every man who needs to hear it. And don't stop there. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This community, Stoic Blessing, is about more than just getting through tough times. It's about building a life of strength, purpose, and freedom. So here's my challenge to you. Walk away from this video and take action. Make your silence loud. Make your focus unshakable. And make your life the ultimate proof that nothing and no one can break you. Stay strong, Stoic Blessing fam. Until next time.